Music is a universally connecting force because even though you and a group of people can share next to nothing in common, you can share that one specific experience that connects every single one of you together, and you can bond through music. And the thing about music is that the inspiration for it can come from a matter of different places. The lighter sides of life, things that should be celebrated, things like marriage or gaining a new house or gaining a new perspective on a situation in your life that frees you from something. Or the darker side of life, such as traumatic incidents and situations you've been through, or emotions you've battled with, or even darker, death, whether that be accidental or intentional. And today, we're going to talk about songs with disturbing backstories. The Way by Fastball, 1998. Fastball is an American rock band that formed in Austin, Texas in 1994. They were originally called Magneto before being signed to Hollywood Records. The band consists of guitarist, vocalist, and bassist Tony Scalzo, vocalist and guitarist Miles Zuniga, and drummer Joey Sheffield. The band made a name for themselves in Austin in the underground scene and would release their first album in 1996 titled Make Your Mama Proud, which did alright and it gave them some kind of buzz, but it wasn't quite what would happen next. Their next album would be followed up in 1998 with All the Pain Money Can Buy, which saw one of its singles titled The Way become a massive success, staying at number 1 on the charts for 7 weeks and becoming the band's most popular song. The song already has a relatively somber feel to it, but it becomes a lot darker once you realize just exactly what this is about. And here are the lyrics. They made up their minds and they started packing, and left before the sun came up that day, an exit to eternal summer slacking. But where were they going without ever knowing the way? They drank up the wine and they got to talking, but now had more important things to say. And when the car broke down, they started walking. Where were they going without ever knowing the way? Anyone can see the road that they walk on is paved in gold, and it's always summer. They'll never get cold. They'll never get hungry. They'll never get old and gray. You can see their shadows wandering off somewhere. They won't make it home, but they don't really care. They wanted the highway. They're happier there today. The children woke up and they couldn't find them. They left before the sun came up that day. They just drove off and left it all behind them. Where were they going without ever knowing the way? And the chorus repeats. This song is about a couple up and leaving their home and disappearing for good. And sadly, the inspiration for the song is far darker and tragic in nature. Saturday morning, June 29th, 1997. It's a typical day in Texas. The sun is shining, not a cloud to be seen in the sky, and it's really hot. There was an elderly couple by the names of Leela and Raymond Howard, who had been together for around 11 years, which was 1986 up to this point, had gotten together after both of their spouses had unfortunately passed away. They found a common ground and began to bond with one another, and soon they became inseparable. One of their yearly traditions was to go to the festival for Pioneer Day in the city of Temple, which is 15 minutes away from their home in Salado, Texas. And for those who don't know, Salado is a pretty small town, and it's a really nice and quaint area, which is an hour away from Austin. They typically would leave at around morning and come back by around 5 o'clock in the evening. Today should have been just another trip and another memory made between the long-lasting couple. But unfortunately, that would become a very bad nightmare. 5 o'clock had came and went, and they were still not home. Their grandchildren began to get increasingly worried as to where their grandparents were, and so what they decided to do was contact local news stations as well as get in touch with the police, and a full-scale search had gone underway. And as more time passed by, the children began to get more and more worried, as they felt like something awful had happened to their grandparents. And sadly, 2 weeks later, their conclusions would be correct. There at the bottom of a 25-foot cliff near Hot Springs, Arkansas, lied a crushed and broken Oldsmobile, and within it lied the bodies of Leila and Raymond Howard. The ongoing investigation had concluded that there were no signs of foul play, including any weapons, no fingerprints, or signs of a struggle on one side. Leila was 83 and she had been developing Alzheimer's and had signs of memory loss even before this, as well as Raymond, who was 88, who had complications from a brain surgery, which resulted in dealing with memory issues as well. May both Leila and Raymond rest in peace. I Don't Like Mondays, The Boomtown Rats, 1979. The Boomtown Rats are an Irish band that formed in 1975. The band consists of lead vocalist Bob Geldof, lead guitarist Gary Roberts, pianist Johnny Fingers, drummer Simon Crowe, bass guitarist Pete Burkett, and guitarist Gary Codd. Starting off as a pub band, they worked their way up through the underground scene and became one of the faces of the punk and new wave movement of the late 70s and early to mid 80s. They'd strike gold throughout their careers, landing multiple number one hits on the UK charts. Songs like Rat Trap, Like Clockwork, Do They Know It's Christmas, Looking After Number One, House on Fire, Mary of the Fourth Form, and others would help cement the group as one of the most prolific and successful bands of their time. One of their most recognizable songs, titled I Don't Like Mondays, which was a single from the album The Fine Art of Surfacing, which was released in 1979, is a particularly dark song, with lyrics like, the silicon chip inside her head gets switched to overload, and nobody's gonna go to school today. She's going to make them stay at home, and Daddy doesn't understand it. He always said she was as good as gold, and he can see no reasons. 'Cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need to be shown? And here comes the chorus. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I want to shoot the whole day down. The telex machine is kept so clean as it types to a waiting world. And mother feels so shocked. Father's world is rocked. And their thoughts turn to their own little girl. Sweet 16 ain't so peachy keen. No, it ain't so neat to admit defeat. They can see no reasons, 'cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need? And all the playing's stopped in the playground now. She wants to play with her toys a while, and school's out early, and soon we'll be learning, and the lesson today is how to die. And then the bullhorn crackles, and the captain tackles, with the problems and the hows and whys. And he can see no reasons, 'cause there are no reasons. What reason do you need to die? This song's inspiration came from one of the very first ever school. Brenda Spencer, a 16-year-old teenage girl from San Diego, California, was born on April 3rd, 1962, to parents Dot and Wallace Spencer. She grew up in the San Carlos neighborhood right across the street from Cleveland Elementary School. She went through a myriad of abuse from her father, resulting in her growing up a socially withdrawn child. She had an accident on her bicycle which resulted in the temporal lobe in her brain being injured. For those who don't know, the temporal lobe is responsible for managing your emotions, memory retrieval, and processing information from your senses, as well as understanding language. This doesn't absolve her of any wrongdoing, but rather it's an explanation as to why her behavior was so strange. In fact, she had fired a BB gun at the same school many years prior, and was even arrested for it. It was recommended that she seek therapy, but her father had denied it. For Christmas, Her father had gotten her a Ruger 10-22 semi-automatic point-caliber rifle with a telescopic sight and 500 rounds of ammunition. In hindsight, this was the worst thing she could have ever been given. On Monday morning, January 29th, 1979, something snapped within her. At that same time, parents were taking their children to school, and everything was going smoothly. Brenda got up, grabbed the Ruger, and aimed at the school across the street. In total, 11 people were shot, 2 were killed, and 9 were injured. When she was arrested, she was asked what was the motivation behind what she had done, and she replied with, "I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day." Currently, Brenda Spencer is serving a 25 to life sentence at California Institution for Women in Chino after she was denied parole in 2009. Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton, 1992. Eric Clapton is a British blues and rock singer who was born on March 30th, 1945 in Surrey, Ripley, United Kingdom, to Patricia Clapton and a Canadian soldier named Edward Fryer. Being raised mostly by his grandparents due to his mom not wanting to bear the shame of having an illegitimate child. When he was a child, he took interest in both guitar and blues music, and he cites Muddy Waters, Freddie King, B.B. King, Albert King, Buddy Guy, and many more as his early inspirations. He even got expelled due to his focus on art rather than academics. He's widely considered to be one of the greatest guitarists of all time. He's been a part of multiple bands such as the Yardbirds, the Blues Breakers, Cream, Plastic Ono, Derek and the Dominoes, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, and Blind Faith, achieving high levels of success with the vast majority of these bands. But the reason why he was a part of so many different bands was because of the fact that he was notoriously difficult to work with, and if he didn't like something, then he would stop, and if he would continue to fight with the band, he'd just simply leave and start another one. And so, after he had left Blind Faith, he became a solo artist. His son, Conor Clapton, was born on August 21st, 1986 in the United Kingdom to him and Lori Del Santo. When they had met, Eric was on the verge of ending a relationship with Patty Boyd, an English model and photographer, citing the failure to birth a child even through going through in vitro fertilization as one of the biggest reasons for why he chose to divorce Patty. In 1992, the theatrical release of the movie Rush had happened, and one of the songs on the soundtrack was a song titled Tears in Heaven, which is considered to be one of the best songs Eric Clapton has ever written and ever produced. It's a pretty heartbreaking song, admittedly, with lyrics like, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can bring you down, time can bend your knees, time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging please. Beyond the door, there's peace I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven." And the chorus comes in for the outro. I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Tragically, this song has a pretty sad backstory, as just a year prior, his son Conor had fallen 53 stories from a New York apartment to his death, and using that heartbreak, that grief and sorrow, he used it to create one of his most iconic gems. May Conor rest in peace. Pretty by Korn, 1998. Korn is an American nu metal band that formed in 1993 from Bakersfield, California. The band consists of vocalist and multi-instrumentalist Jonathan Davis, guitarist James Monkey Schaefer, bassist Reginald Fieldy Arvizo, guitarist Brian Head Welch, and drummer Ray Lazier. They're pioneers and frontrunners of the nu metal subgenre. A massive wave that took over the late 90s, by the way. It's really popular, or was really popular, and it's seeing a resurgence, by the way. They started off their initial run in 1994 with their self-titled album, Korn, and he had songs like Blind, Ball Tongue, and the truly soul-rendering experience of a song known as Daddy. They would continue, of course, to perform local shows in the area, and in 1996, they would release their second album titled Life is Peachy, which gave us the ever so iconic twist,
"Oh my god, it's Korn."
You got Adidas, you had Good God, and No Place to Hide, which were all pretty well received, landing within the Billboard Hot 100s list and getting tons of radio play as well. And Korn would follow that up with the band's magnum opus and Follow the Leader in 1998, giving us two of their most popular songs to date that are hallmarks from this subgenre from what a lot of people would consider a bygone era, which would be Freak on a Leash and Got the Life. A song titled Pretty is on the album, which is a pretty disturbing track. Then again, a lot of Korn songs are pretty disturbing and dark, but here are some of the lyrics. So young, but I don't realize. Small white legs broke, the pain between her thighs. I see your pretty face smashed against the floor. What a disgrace. Who do I feel sorry for? Skin so cold. How could someone steal a life? Takes the blame. Wait, I got some shit to say. I see your pretty face smashed against the floor. What a disgrace. Who do I feel sorry for? Slashing. Not again. This is a real crime. What a pretty face. Who do I feel sorry for? Wait. Something now rips my heart and takes my soul. I wait too late now. I hurt inside. Take my soul away. Slashing. Not again. This is a real crime. What a pretty face. Who do I feel sorry for? This song is about a real-life experience that a young 18-year-old Jonathan Davis had. In fact, he had worked as a coroner office worker, and they had brought in the twisted body of a child that had been murdered by her father. According to JD, it was the most heinous thing he had ever seen, and it left him with nightmares for a long time. Well, folks, that's the end of the video. If you stayed this far, I want to say thank you very much, because it's been a tumultuous 3 months, but finally it seems like the road is straightening out, and I've gotten a few things figured out. We'll be moving on the 2nd of the next month, as well as I plan on being more consistent with my uploads, and I have a second channel titled Snazzy Way, where I talk about different things and will upload a bunch of different creative projects that I have planned and various other things of that nature. So if you just really want me to ramble on and on about random shit, or like my voice in some way, shape, or form, I don't know how, you can go over there and expect sporadic uploads, although I won't consistently upload to that channel until this one fully and well and truly grows. And so with that being said, I want to tell you guys, God bless, take care of yourselves, and as always, stay snazzy, folks.